If you're buying a home and wondering whether to put down 10, 15, 20% or whatever you actually have, then this video is going to show you a tool that answers that question with real numbers. Not general advice, your numbers, your situation and your answer. But if you want to go deeper, if you want a full walkthrough of the home buying process beyond just the down payment, I've put a link in the description to a free 1-hour video that walks you through everything. All the government grants, strategies, mistakes, and step-by-step process to finding and buying your perfect home. My name is Gaurav. I am a realtor and finance educator based in the Greater Toronto area. I built this down payment tool because the question I get more than almost any other is this one. Should I put 10% down now or should I wait and save 20%? So I wanted something that could give a real answer rather than a rule of thumb. So let's get to it. Alright, this is the tool, downpayment.eosinvestments.com. I'll put the link in the description and it's completely free, nothing to sign up for. What it does is take your specific situation, your savings, your purchase price, your mortgage details and show you side by side what different down payment amounts actually mean for you over time. This is not just the monthly payment, which is what most people focus on, but your total financial picture at 5, 10 and 20 years later. Let me walk you through it field by field because each one has a reason behind it and understanding why it's there helps you put in the right number for your situation. The first field is purchase price. I'm going to use 900,000 for this walkthrough. That's a realistic number for a detached, semi-detached or a townhouse in a good part of the GTA right now. When you run this yourself, use the actual number you're targeting. Total savings. This field is asking for the total savings you have, not just what you're planning to put toward the house, but everything. Your checking account, your savings account, your FHSA, your RRSP, if you're considering the home buyer's plan, and any non-registered investments that are liquid. It's basically the full picture of where you stand financially today, and the reason it needs to be everything is that the next field, the emergency fund, gets subtracted from this number. And whatever's left after that subtraction is what the calculator actually has to work with. So if you only enter the amount you were already planning to use for the down payment, then the tool cannot show you the full picture accurately. I'm going to put 200,000. Take a few minutes to add it all up before you run this for yourself. Emergency fund. This field is the one I think about more carefully than any other one here, and it's the one people are most tempted to skip or underestimate. The calculator asks you how much of your savings you want to keep completely untouched regardless of what you put down. That money sits separately. The tool keeps it out of the comparison entirely, earning a basic savings rate on its own. The reason this matters is that the down payment decision doesn't happen in a vacuum. Once you close, you will have a home that needs things. Appliances will break, something will leak, life will happen. If your entire savings goes into the down payment and there's nothing left, then the first surprise expense doesn't come out of nowhere. It comes out of a line of credit at a high interest rate. And that changes your financial picture in ways that do not show up in any down payment comparison. Now, there is no right number here. It depends on your income stability, your age, your comfort level. I'm going to put $30,000 for this example. When you run yours, be honest about what would actually make you feel comfortable, not just technically solvent. Now, mortgage rate. Use your actual rate hold if you have one or the current rate you've been quoted. I'll use 4% here. This affects your monthly payment directly. So the closer this is to your real number, the more accurate your comparison will be. Now, this is the annual rate at which the tool assumes your home grows in value. The GTA's long run average is somewhere in the 3 to 5% range depending on the period and the property type. I'll use 4%. You can change this and try a more conservative number and also try a higher number and see how it moves the results. The range of outcomes is part of the picture here. Amortization is how long your mortgage runs. If you're a first-time buyer, you qualify for 30 years. If you are upgrading using an insured mortgage, then it would be 25 years for you. Use whatever applies to you. Now, this is the expected annual return on any capital that doesn't go into the down payment and is not your emergency fund. This is the money you keep in the market instead. The tool gives you a few options, conservative, moderate, or you can enter your own number. This one matters because it's the variable that most changes the comparison. The tool is essentially asking if this money isn't in the house, what does it do instead? And depending on your answer, the results will look quite different. I'd encourage you to run this more than once, try a conservative assumption, then try a higher one, see where your results land across that range because neither extreme is guaranteed and the honest answer is somewhere in between. I'll use 10.5% for this run and later we'll look at what changes when I adjust it. Now I can select the down payment scenarios I want to compare. This tool lets you pick the minimum down, 10% or 20%. I'm going to run all three standard ones together so we can see the full picture. And let's hit compare. Here's what the tool is showing us. For each scenario, it's calculated the down payment amount, the CMHC insurance premium if one applies, and the resulting mortgage and your monthly payment. Then it's taken whatever capital was left over after the down payment and the emergency fund have been taken out. It's essentially the money that's out of the house and modeled what happens to it in the market over time. Then you see your net wealth at 5, 10 or 20 years here. That's home equity, what the house is worth minus what you still owe, plus whatever your investment portfolio has grown into. That's the total picture. Now let's look at each scenario. Each scenario has a different down payment, a different CMHC fee where applicable, and a different mortgage balance along with a different monthly payment. The monthly payment gap between the lowest and the highest down payment scenarios is visible here, and for some people, that gap matters a lot. If the higher monthly payment on a lower down payment scenario puts your budget under real strain, then that is important information. And the tool is showing that information before you commit. And look at what the CMHC premium does. It gets added to your mortgage. So you are not paying it upfront, but you're paying interest on it for the life of the loan. Whether that trade-off makes sense depends on what the rest of your picture looks like, which is exactly what the next set of data points are for. Now let's look at the various scenarios and notice the best badge. At 5 years, 20% is leading, but it's essentially a three-way tie. All three scenarios are within a few $100s of each other. Click to 10 or 20 years and now minimum down is leading. Same input, same return assumptions, the winner changes depending on how long your horizon is. Here is what's driving this shift. In the early years, 20% down leads because you have no CMHC fee, a lower mortgage balance, and the monthly mortgage savings are already compounding. But over time, the lump sum invested at closing in the minimum down payment scenario keeps growing. At 10 and 20-year scenarios, enough time has passed that this lump sum compounding in the minimum down scenario has overtaken the equity and monthly savings advantage of the 20% down scenario. Now look at the breakdown inside each card. There are two things building the portfolio number. First is the lump sum at closing, whatever was left after down payment and emergency fund invested from day one. Second is the monthly mortgage savings, because in the 10% and 20% down, both have lower payments than the minimum down. That difference gets invested in the market every month. Both streams are showing you their grown value at whichever time horizon you're on. This is why the answer genuinely depends on your numbers and your timeline. Someone with a shorter horizon, say they plan to sell and upgrade in 7 to 8 years, is looking at a different picture than someone holding on for 20 years. Neither is right or wrong. The tool is just showing you where each path leads. Now let me change the return assumption from 10.5% down to 7% and run it again. Watch what happens across all three tabs. At 7%, the lump sum does less work over time. The monthly savings advantage of 20% down, that is $708 a month saved from your mortgage payment, is invested every month and it becomes relatively more powerful. The badge tends to stay with 20% down across the 5 and 10 year horizon and is at break-even situation in the 20-year time horizon. At 10.5% down, the lump sum compounding in the minimum down payment scenario gains enough ground by year 10 to overtake everything. None of this is a forecast though. What this range is showing you is the set of outcomes your assumptions create, and that answer shifts not just with your inputs, but what the market does over time. The link to this calculator is in the description, downpayment.eosinvestments.com. Put your own numbers in, change the market return, change the appreciation rate, run the various scenarios the tool gives you, and the tool will provide a different set of answers for the various set of inputs you put in, because the right answer is different for every person based on their assumptions. I have been working with buyers in this market for years, and the down payment question comes up in almost every single conversation. Because it's not just about how much you have, it's about what that money does depending on how you deploy it. And most people have never seen that laid out clearly before making the decision. That's what I try to help every buyer I work with actually see. If you're buying in the Greater Toronto area and you want to sit down virtually or in person and build out your actual home buying strategy, the link to book a free call is in the description. It'll be an honest conversation about what makes sense for your specific numbers and your timeline. But if you're not ready for that yet, but want to keep educating yourself, I have recorded a first-time home buying webinar that covers the full journey from day one all the way to the day you get your keys, including the financial mistakes that cost people money before they ever make an offer. You can watch it at your own pace. The link is in the description. If this video helped you think about the down payment decision more clearly, share it with someone in your circle who's sitting with the same question right now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.